Take a look at this. This is the program that you get, and I want to show you that anything can be dangerous. The last injury I had was 1977 in center field. I broke my middle finger catching a ball. This morning I was trying to cut the insert, which allows me to include my box score and information in here. Took out the scissors. And for you boys and girls at home, keep an eye on Mom and Dad, because if they're as klutzy as me, I put the scissors right through the finger, 3 stitches, and spent an hour and a half in the hospital this morning just trying to get the box score ready for today's game.
You got to be careful. You need some blunt scissors at first grade, second grade.
That's what I'm saying. Mom and Dad, the kids know better. And from now on, I'm going to do what I used to do, just tear everything out. It's like a coupon. We played 4 complete. The score is Perry Hall 7, Sterling Heights 2.
Number 9.
And a reminder, this is a 6-inning game. The 10-run rule has been waived for this contest. On the mound now, we have a new pitcher for Sterling Heights in the person of number 9, Scott Walker. Scott's a gentleman who can also play first base. He's 4 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 80 pounds, goes to Jefferson Junior High. He's in the 5th grade. So Walker will come on now to pitch. Campiste, who pitched the first few innings of this game, remains at first base. And Kurt Osterhout did a good job while he was in there, picked up a strikeout. We move now into the top of the 5th inning of play. And leading off for Perry Hall is number 25, the third baseman, who is Brooks Robinson Jr. for all we know. Jeff Burrows made some excellent fielding plays down the third base line, the most notable being that backhanded one in the 2nd inning. Where he just backhanded that ball right down the line, righted himself, and threw in plenty of time to get the runner out by 5 steps. Perry Hall came in with a record of 25-6. Sterling Heights, Michigan, with a record of 21-8. And these two teams aren't all-star teams, and all-star teams are allowed to play if they're from the same league. But, you know, I think this is something that is really interesting. It's probably a little more special, and it means more to that particular group of people, that town, and to that team if they played together all season, I think, Dave.
Yeah, I think so.
We see with these two. And what a large contingent from both of these. Perry Hall came in on a bus, made the drive from Perry Hall, Maryland. A group of, they say 43, but I say it's at least 50, because in the process of playing in this tournament, I think they picked up another 5, 6, or 7 fans. They have some friends who live down Lancaster, Ohio way, and they came to the tournament. To the left side, off Wise's glove, and Burrows will be safe at first. The play was not as easy as it looked, because Burrows hit that ball like a rocket.
It was
Wise
hard.
tried to come up with it and just couldn't.
The ball hit him on the wrist, above the heel of his glove, and he lost control.
Brown, runner on first base.
So the 5th inning starts with a runner on for Perry Hall. That brings up the former center fielder, now pitcher, Danny Brown. A bunt back, and a tag at second base is made. The 4th runner out at second. And Danny Brown is on the fielder's choice with 1 out. That brings up the left fielder, Corey Hall, is due up, and we have a change in the Perry Hall lineup. Number 28 coming to the plate now is Chris Way.
Number 28.
Take a look at that replay. We'll return the bunt, and a nice play forcing out that lead runner at second base.
Left field.
So it leaves a runner on at first with 1 out. That brings up Chris Way, W-E-I, pronounced Way. Chris with a batting average just over 600. Chris is a gentleman I think they picked up just during this postseason play, batting .604. As we said, there were 8 teams in this tournament, and right now we'd like to recognize all the teams for their cooperation and for the great hustle they showed throughout this tournament, and none of these teams were losers by any stretch of the imagination. Congratulations to Fresno, California, to Westland, Michigan, to Perry Hall, Maryland, to Norwood, Ohio, to Sterling Heights, Michigan, to Marion, Ohio, to Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania, and to the host team, Columbus, Ohio. Congratulations, you're all winners in your own ways. And that one's high inside from Walker, 1-0. Chris Way, we said, batting just over 600 in postseason competition. That one bounced right by the plate, and the runner will safely advance to second in the person of Danny Brown. going to be a wild pitch. Line score looks something like this. In the first inning, Sterling Heights came up with a run to take a 1-0 lead. Then Perry Hall answered with 2 in the top of the second, with 4 in the top of the third, and with 1 in the top of the fourth. And Sterling Heights came back with 1 in the bottom of the fourth. As we're in the top of the fifth right now, it's 7-2 Perry Hall over Sterling Heights. There's the ball. 3-0 the count now on Chris Way.
At this point in the game, Sterling Heights doesn't need to give up any walks. That's going to hurt them.
The 3-0 from Walker. There's a strike in there. This juncture of the game, it's almost better just to put it right over the plate, maybe take a little off of it, and let him hit that ball.
At any time in the game, as far as I'm concerned, Randy, walks, there's nothing good about a walk from it.
That's right. You got all those hard throwers over there that you were talking about a little earlier. To the right side, second baseman in time. But it advances the runner to third base. 2 down now here in the top of the fifth. We go back to the top of the order now, and that brings up Matt Tanner.
Leadoff batter, number 23, Matt Tanner.
Tanner started the game off on the mound. Tanner's performance in this game kind of reminds you of perhaps a control pitcher, Dave, where he perhaps does not strike out a lot of batters or walk a lot of batters, but gets them to hit the ball on the ground. And we've got a good, solid infield that both of these teams seem to have. It's really an advantage then.
Yeah, he's got great support. We've seen great plays by the second baseman, shortstop, and the third baseman. They're just doing a super job.
Walker's offering. There's a strike in there. 1-1 the count now on Matt Tanner. The championship game of the Continental Amateur Baseball Association 10 and Under World Series. Randy Reinhardt along with Dave Fay in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 12 miles due east of Columbus, Ohio. Glad to have you with us. Pop up on the infield. Walker under it, makes the catch for out number 3. So in the inning, there were no runs, although Perry Hall threatens, and we've played 4.5. The score now, Perry Hall 7, Sterling Heights 2, as we move into the bottom half of the fifth inning of play. Well, there are a lot of people we need to thank for their cooperation in this tournament. Among those would be, as we mentioned, Ron Golden, the president of the CABA, the mayor of the city of Reynoldsburg, John K. Francis. We call him Kenny Francis, and he always makes us feel at home no matter what we're doing. He's just a fine gentleman, and he always takes time out. And despite the fact that he's always doing something, he's always got time for us. And I think that's a very important quality in a mayor. We'd also like to thank several other people who were involved with this tournament. Phil Kaiser, the Director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Reynoldsburg. We'd also like to thank Linda Hanrahan, one of the host parents who's given me so much information about these teams and kept me up to date and in contact with several of these teams. She was assisted by Barb Ferris and Ron Golden. As I said, his wife Fran has done so much throughout this tournament too. And I also like to thank Dave Fay for his help. And he and I going around and splitting up some of these games and scouting things. And I think later on, in fact, we might get a chance to talk to Linda Hanrahan, get her comments on working on this tournament. The first time she had a chance to work on it, she's done an outstanding job. You know, Ron mentioned something a little earlier, Dave, that there actually was supposed to be a team here from Puerto Rico, but they could not make connections in time, and they could not be here. But this would have truly have been an international tournament almost in a sense. Last year there was a team from Canada that participated in this, and this season Puerto Rico almost did, and there is a Canadian team this year in one of the higher age groups that's going to be participating. So no longer is this considered just a regional tournament. This is such a national tournament, as right now we have stepping up to the microphone Linda Hanrahan, one of the host parents. And Linda, on behalf of everyone at Coaxial Communications, we'd like to thank you for all your information and thank you for making us feel at home. And I know you must be happy that finally the dream is over for you.
Yes and no. I'm really sad to see it end at this point. I really am. We've had such a good time. The crowds, the parents, the teams, everything's just been super.
And I know you put a lot of work into it. As the parent of one of the Columbus players, I know you're a little disappointed to see the team out of it, but they stayed in it, and they were one of the final 4 teams fighting it out for the championship.
We're really happy. I mean, I'll take 4th. I'm happy.
Linda Hanrahan, one of the host parents, and she's just done a super job in organizing this tournament. That's Linda down there on the end, the pretty one, if you haven't guessed by now. And Linda, on behalf of everyone at Coaxial, I'd like to thank you, and Barb Thuris, who assisted you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your information. And thank you for calling me and letting me call you and going, Linda, what's the latest?
Thanks a lot, Randy. Thank
Linda
you.
Hanrahan, one of the host parents here. Linda, thank you for joining us. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning of play now. The score 7-2. Danny Brown still on the mound for Perry Hall. And that bounces in there for a base hit.
That fell in. That's a hit.
Nice job of stroking that ball to left center field by Justin Lease.
Coming up, number 2.
Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning of play, and that brings up second baseman. Check that. Shortstop, Danny Wise. Danny Wise. Once again, we talked about this a little earlier, Dave. They might be 10 and under, but we see running gloves and we see batting gloves at home plate.
Well, you know, the T-ballers around here were at 8 years old. Again, that to me, that's just something else that you know, the kids are picking up from TV, and I don't know how much that adds to your average.
And let's hope that we don't see them negotiate contracts like they pick up on TV, too. Base hit to center field by Danny Wise. And now rallying
that was close.
For the Orioles, runners on first and second, and nobody out. Danny Wise hit that one right on the nose to center field. 2 on, nobody out. And due up now is Steve Teodecki.
Number 6, Steve Teodecki.
That was a nice play by the center fielder. He got the ball in there very quickly, almost got to force at second base. I'm very impressed by this Perry Hall defense. I think he might have skinned up his knee sliding into second base.
They're taking a look at his left knee right now, and just a reminder, we'll stay here for the award ceremonies after the game. Mayor Francis will be coming back, I believe, for the award ceremonies. You're talking about a busy gentleman. He just got back into town. He came here for 4 innings, sat behind the backstop, joined us for the game. He's leaving. He'll be back for the award ceremonies after the game.
All right.
Steve Teodecki at the plate. 2 on, nobody out. There's a ball, 1-1.
Randy, this inning's starting out just like the last inning did. They get the first 2 men on base hits, and as I said the last inning, they need to start cashing in. They're going to get this inning and the next to make something happen.
And
foul ball out
nearly
play.
lost our means of transmission there as that one goes out of play down the right-hand side. Just cleared the coax truck by a good 3 feet. And there's swing and a miss, strike 3.
Catcher held on. Strike 3.
That's a strikeout for Danny Brown.
Number 16.
That brings up right fielder Irby. Well, I was wondering in that situation, Dave, with 2 on and nobody out, if you think about the possibility, even though you're down 5 runs, of trying to bunt the runners to second and third, because we saw the possibility of getting a fielder to try to pick up the ball. We know they're good at their positions, but if you get them to move in, perhaps it makes that throw to first a little more difficult.
Yeah, that's a good point, Randy. They're in the meat of the order right now. It's a cleanup hitter. Again, I've said lots of times what I would do, and they've done just the opposite. I'd probably just have it swinging away, I think.
I want to talk about another Mr. Hustle right here. Keith Irby has got great enthusiasm for the game. Is usually one of the first guys out for practice. That includes beating the coaches and the manager up. A strong power hitter, and he can play either the infield or the outfield.
Ball.
Runners now on second.
2-1.
The person of Justin Lease and Danny Wise on first. 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. For Pastore at second. That one eats him up a little. The throw is in time, I tell you. Very important play there, too. We were talking about the point that occasionally you let the ball play you, but Pastore had to wait for that hop, but he did not lose control at all. Just picked it up, knew he still had time, and threw to second base. So often you see someone not only 10 and under, but you'll see a Ron Oster or some other Major League ball player just let that ball play them and panic and not know what base to go to.
And on the replay there, too, Randy, you saw the shortstop, Tim Elliott, take the throw on the outside or the right field side of the base. Had his foot on the base, got it out of there just in time. He played that just right.
And let's see if they get that stolen base. And they take the stolen base at second. and the play at third, the runner stays. They had runners on the corners again at first and third. This time, Perry Hall put on a play, and that they gave the runner the stolen base at second. They bluffed the throw to second and immediately made a throw to third base to try to pick the runner off there, and they nearly caught Justin Lees too many steps off of third base.
As you say, that was a set play, Randy. When he was on second, he was taking an awful big lead after the ball came into the plate, and I think they wanted to try to throw when he was on second, and they couldn't. They set him up on that one. They almost had him at third base. He really doesn't need to be off that far because his run means nothing at this point.
Exactly, when you're down 5 in the bottom of the 5th. Remember, a 6-inning ball game. Brown from the windup now. That's high.
I think he's throwing a little bit harder. He's reaching back here a little bit.
And he also knows he's facing the biggest guy for the Orioles in Greg Campiste, as we talked about, 5 feet tall. Strong power hitter, and he fouls that one off.
Leaving it up 2-2.
Dimensions again we were talking about. 200 down the lines, 220 to dead center field. The base is 60 feet apart, and the pitching area, which is not a mound, it is a flat surface, is approximately 44 feet from home plate. The center field camera, which you're seeing their shot from right now, is approximately 222 feet from home plate. Carla Banks womaning that camera out there, giving us some great shots of second base, of the pitcher, and home plate. And you can see us throughout the whole game, I guess. First time, I guess, announcers have been on the entire game. Brown with a full windup again to Campiste. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that's the way the bottom of the 5th ends. We've played 5 complete now. The score is Perry Hall 7 and Sterling Heights 2. Well, we'd like to hear from you. If you've enjoyed this game and you'd like to give us a comment, any information at all, if you have a gripe, we'd like to hear from you. Our address is Coax